The major sequel to the event, Dark Knight's Metal, is on its way, and we have all the latest details here. How has COVID-19 impacted this upcoming event? And at the end, let's take a look at some terrifyingly cool alternate versions of evil Batman in the pages of Dark Knight's Death Metal. And of course, make sure you smash that subscribe button for more Dark Knight's Death Metal coming soon. So as we've covered before, Death Metal is an up-and-coming event from DC. It has been generating a lot of buzz in the comic book community, and fans seem particularly excited for this event in general. This sequel to Metal promises even more intense multiverse-based action, and in spite of all the delays due to the coronavirus having a severe impact on the comic book industry, Death Metal still remains a likely hit when it finally arrives, hopefully in June. This event brings back a lot of features of Metal, including some twisted versions of the classic DC characters we all know and creepy ideas drawing from author Scott Snyder's roots in horror. Since our initial video on Dark Knights, we've gotten a lot of hints and bits of artwork telling us what we might be expecting out of this upcoming new story. Wonder Woman is supposed to play a key role in this story, which is why she is featured all over the art we've seen coming out of Dark Knight's Death Metal so far. The idea behind the story of Dark Knight's Death Metal is that the Batman who laughs has conquered Earth. At the same time, as a result of the year of the villain, Dark God Perpetua, who Arden talks about right here, has infected the universe with the dark multiverse energy, a source of power that, as you might guess, comes from the dark multiverse and created the many twisted versions of characters we've seen since we were first introduced to the idea in the original Metal story. It's a lot, but really, all you need to know is that the Earth has been turned all dark and messed up, and it's up to Wonder Woman to fix everything. Scott Snyder says it's a clean start otherwise, and easy enough to follow if you haven't read all the various stories leading into this thing. Now, since the announcement of Death Metal, many of you have heard of the major shakeups going on in DC, where Dan DiDio has left the company after being a long-time editor and figure within DC. It's apparently had a major change in the nature of Death Metal and its importance to DC's universe. With the delay due to the virus and all of these other changes going on behind the scenes, the scope of the series, which was originally kind of more of a side thing, seems to be just getting bigger and bigger. It is even supposed to be defining the future of DC, while also following up with the events of a Doomsday Clock and the consequences of whatever it was Dr. Manhattan did to the DC universe at the end of the story. There's a bunch of other random details floating around here too. Cowboy figure Jonah Hex and superhero murderer Wally West are supposed to play significant roles in this story, while Lobo, Aquaman, and Swamp Thing all seem to have parts to play in the main series too. Harley Quinn is supposed to be getting a new love interest in one of the single-issue tie-ins, while she leads an area called the Wasteland, part of the dark multiverse infected Earth. Most of the preview art shows off a bunch of designs for superheroes that just looks totally, well, metal feels like the right word for it. There's a Batman wielding a guitar, an army of demon Batmen, a dinosaur Batman just hanging out with a few characters in this one panel, a monster truck Batmobile, and there's this design that really stands out where a version of Bruce Wayne infused himself with Gotham itself, able to reform it to his will as a living city. You've got to give it to Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. A lot of credit for just running with this whole wild idea theme. It looks pretty damn exciting overall.
Well, thanks for sharing what we know so far about this event, Joey. It is quite a bit, but that's because there's a lot going on, especially given that most of what's been shared only deals with the first 3 issues of this story. There's a lot more on the way, and what happens next is anybody's guess. And since you watching this video are most certainly somebody, please feel free to share that guess in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.